We long for a world that respects all of humanity and all the earth, and so we stand in silent, nonviolent solidarity
with those affected by governments and corporations that put profits before humankind and indeed before all creation.
I always say in efforts like this that if you want to get anywhere on a particular issue, and the poverty issue is an extremely important one, you have to advocate. And this is one way in which advocacy can be done, and I totally support the effort that's being held here.
We're very much concerned with promoting an ethic of peace and environmental sanity and social justice in a world where self-promotion and individualism and only the strong survive ethics tend to be dominant. So we're constantly trying to push back against that only the strong survive.
In 1995, when Mike Harris cut welfare benefits by nearly 22%, 21.6%, people were extremely angry about that. Mike Harris was invited to Kingston to go to a $100 plate dinner at a local golf club. So we had 2 busloads of people who were willing to come down and protest. And there were people from all over Kingston who came, including the sisters. So what happened is, as demonstrations often do, there are 1 or 2 people who smashed some skylights, and then somebody started a fire on the roof. And the sisters were horrified by that violence, and they decided they needed to create a protest that was an alternative.
They decided to actually surround City Hall, holding placards that are bringing to people's attention the plight of the poor and how government's cuts have impacts on the poor.
We wanted to be nonviolent, so we said we will not interfere with people going in and out of City Hall. We'll make sure we do not stand in front of the steps. We'll be respectful of people, and we'll be silent.
People began to join us and come on a weekly basis and knew that this was something good and worthwhile. And so I believe it was a good thing that we began there, and it was important at the time. And they're continuing it because they say the poor haven't gone away, so neither do we.
I was attracted to the Vigil, I suppose, first because I'm a Christian, and I feel that all people have the right to a good life. That is their right.
I smile at people as they go by, and sometimes they smile back, and other times they look away. And when they look away, you know that you've got to them. They're embarrassed. And people need to be embarrassed when there are all kinds of families in this town who can't get through the month and they're working 2 full-time jobs. Like, that's appallingly disgraceful.
It's a prayerful half hour just to be in solidarity with the people that suffer most.
So Tara,
Yes.
so for Friday, are we all set for Friday? What do we need to do for the vigil?
Yes, well, we need to make sure we've got some new signs because the old ones are getting a little ratty, and we need to get down there by about 10 past noon because the vigil starts at 12:15, and it goes for its usual half hour until 12:45. And it's cold, but we usually get enough people out.
And we always start by thinking of somebody, some reason why we're standing. like standing for particular
Our intention.
Yeah, for a political issue or for a local issue sometimes, eh? Like somebody in the city here who
The
maybe
homeless who are having to spend time out in this cold weather and don't have anywhere to go. And Syria is much in the news, as you were just mentioning, so we might stand.
So the vigil has gone on without stop for 17 years. And there are people who join with us now at those vigils. They're calling themselves the Vigilers and become very much part of that ministry with us.
Some will say, why do you do it? Haven't you done enough? And I suppose you might say, I don't think you can ever do enough. Our signs have taken on not only anti-poverty, but we've got into the war issue. When the terrible thing took place in Walkerton many years ago, we were very much involved with water.
It was part of standing with those who suffer, because our image has always been Mary at the foot of the cross. Standing at the foot of the cross, standing with those who suffer, with those who are treated unjustly.
We've got more than enough in this country to look after ourselves, and then we've got to get busy and get out into the world again. We've sort of contracted into ourselves, and here's the world out there which needs some help. And so let's get out and do it.
Together in this vigil, we bring before us injustices affecting our world. In gentle awareness, we present these concerns to the divine light, which permeates the universe. Thus we stand in hope. I couldn't get over how life-giving this justice ministry was, with all the heaviness that was associated with it. But once you get in and remain in the struggle, I think that's the important thing, the struggle for justice in our world.